Loyal followers, I know you have been working hard, but we just need that final push. We're finally ready to move on to the next stage of our development. We're getting ready to go trading, to go traveling, to acquire further followers. You just have to work that little bit harder. So here's 5 things I think you'll need to know about Orléans. Orléans from Tasty Minstrel Games is a medieval shindig for 1 to 4 players, in which you set about gathering a ragtag following to help you gain supremacy over the other players. Now, of course, there are multiple paths to victories, but in this case, it's victory points that announce the winner. Mechanically speaking, Orléans is a bag building game, meaning that when you acquire a new person, they're going to go into a bag, which means it's probably unlikely that you'll see them exactly when you might need them again. So at the start of your turn, you pull people out of your bag and you can set them to work on your board, on your player board. Each section will require a specific set of workers, and it can be difficult sometimes to get exactly the ones you want in the right places. However, usually when you do it, there is a benefit, such as getting a new worker, and others too. There's an entire kind of row of benefits to doing these things. So you can kind of watch your economy grow and spread. The other important thing that you can do is the fact you can go exploring, and you can build guild houses, and they'll often bring back items which are worth victory points too. So the key to the game seems to be about getting as many actions as possible out of as few followers as possible while still employing a winning strategy. Orléans feels like a really unique game to me, and up until about a week ago I would have probably said I'd never played anything like it. However, I did acquire a copy of Altiplano, which is from the same designer, Reiner Stockhausen, as Orléans. So now I have a comparison point to make, which is that, Orléans plays like Altiplano, it's true, but Orléans is far more forgiving and welcoming than I think Altiplano is, but they do play very similarly. Setup time for Orléans is intensive, as there are lots of bits and bobs to be placed around the board and to be set up for the players. The rulebook itself is very good and is excellent at explaining the game. However, we did have an issue with the fact that there are certain tiles in the game that are written only in German. Like, our player boards are German one side and English the other, but these specific set of tiles are only in German. Hence, we have to look them up every time they come up to check in the rulebook, which is a little bit annoying. It takes about an hour for 2 of us to play, and variability wise there's plenty going on here on the basis of the bag building, the variety of the tiles that can come up, and of course just the variability in strategies. There's tons of ways to win here. Aesthetics wise, I really enjoy the artwork of Orléans. It's definitely very dated with a period feel. I almost wish that our little tokens were bigger just so I could enjoy the artwork that little bit more. Overall, it's a very good looking game with really great components, and I have to admit, it's kind of satisfying being able to slot your follower onto the round spot on your player board. It's a good feeling, people. Okay, so what's so special about Orléans? I think it has to be how easy it is to play, but how difficult it is to be good at. This is a game that has tons of strategy and depth. So, how do I really feel about Orléans? Firstly, the negatives. For us, it has to be the setup. There are just so many bits and bobs and things that you need to get ready to play Orléans that it's incredibly labour intensive. So much so that twice we decided we wanted to play Orléans and then changed our minds simply because it would have just taken so long to set it up. Definitely, I think this is one where an insert would be incredibly helpful. The second issue I have with the game is one I can imagine a bunch of people having, and it's the bag building aspect. And you're really going to have to love that if you want to love Orléans. I can understand people becoming frustrated where, all you need is a knight out of your bag and you haven't seen one for 4 turns. And it's holding you up entirely while your opponent flies ahead and is able to do this, that and the other. And I could understand being annoyed by that. But that is sadly, the nature of the type of game this is. Okay, so the positives. In truth, I actually think the bag builder is this game's greatest strength. While of course some may complain about its random elements, I take it as an opportunity. Because if you're the kind of player who's going to sit around for 4 turns waiting for a knight before you do anything, well, that's your fault and that's nothing to do with the game. The game challenges you and it says make the best of what you have while you have it. And so you have to be able to change your strategies on the fly. And I think that's what the core of Orléans is really all about, and it's a very exciting puzzle. The second point I have to make is that on a whole, like, this game is really satisfying. You start out with like 4 little guys and then you build them up, and then you get to do new things, you get to go new places. You and the game grow together, and that's a really cool experience actually, to watch everything get so big and watch your bag get huge towards the end of the game, and it's one that I really enjoy. Now finally, just because this game is easy to teach does not mean it is in fact easy to master. I find that every time I played the game, there was a new path to victory. It keeps offering new ways to approach it, and also new ways for me to become a better player every time I've played it. So, do I think you should have Orléans in your collection? I think if you can get over the randomness of the bag builder, and possibly don't mind a little bit of setup, then I think you're really going to enjoy Orléans. It's a very fun and very satisfying gaming experience, and it's one that I think a lot of people will really enjoy. You've been watching Board Game Inquisition. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please think about subscribing or liking or all of those good things that, you know, all of us here on YouTube would love. Or if you have any comments or queries about Orléans, please do leave them in the comments section below. I'd really like to hear from you. And until next time, I'll be here playing games, asking questions, and of course, pronouncing Orléans incorrectly. Take care. Bye bye.